Hello guys, welcome back to Defying Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star Part 362 based on novel. So let's start. So long. Luo Feng frowned, thinking carefully. True enough, Purple Moon Ancestor was a true god of void space whose miniature universe must have been bigger than his. Morosa was currently only a second-stage sector beast. Its speed of devouring was much slower than before. Indeed, it would require around 100,000 years. Master, do you want me to devour the origin of his miniature universe? Morosa asked, primed for action. Luo Feng shook his head. Forget it, for the time being, we will just let him have a good life for a little while longer. Previously, when I was at the sector beast's nest, there were enemies everywhere. There was no way I could stay for long. After spending a short period of 1 year there, I had to leave there and return. If I could stay for as long as 100 years, that would have been beyond expectations. Morosa, you shall remain within my miniature universe and be on standby at all times. Wait for me to give orders. Although he really wanted to destroy Purple Moon Holy Land, the Sector Beast crisis was his top priority. Understood. Morosa was most reluctant to let things be, but still, he had to respect and obey Luo Feng's orders. From inside Star Tower, Luo Feng looked toward the void space in the outside world. He was looking in the direction of Purple Moon Holy Land as he silently said to himself, "For now, time is of the essence. I don't have time to haggle with you. When I am done with the more important matters, it will still not be too late to eliminate you." As for failure, Luo Feng could not be bothered to think about it too much. If he truly failed and his miniature universe devoured, everything would be destroyed. By then, Purple Moon Holy Land would be the least of his concerns. Besides, if there was a great extermination, Purple Moon Holy Land would definitely be wiped out. After all, the sector beasts would not take Purple Moon Holy Land in even if Purple Moon Holy Land had decided to seek refuge with them. Purple Moon Holy Land did not have any opponents that appeared to be a threat whatsoever, and such a big Holy Land universe was definitely going to a delectable feast. Why would the sector beasts give up such good food? Sure. Star Tower executed a super long-distance teleportation and continued to advance toward the world of Jin. After no longer than half a day, Luo Feng, who was on board Star Tower, entered the godly body of that massive life form that seemed to be His Majesty the Godly King. He arrived outside the miniature universe of the world of Jin and waited in silence. He was awaiting the moment when the membrane walls would start to turn white. Time passed. Another half a month had gone by. It's changed. Luo Feng looked into the distance. The membrane walls of the miniature universe within the void space had completely changed to white. What was different from before was that, after 1,000,000,000,000 eras, the number of great beings entering the world of Jin dwindled to only a few because all those great beings who could obtain treasures had, for the most part, gotten what they needed. Those who were not so powerful had either retreated or been annihilated. The number had grown fewer, and after so many eras, a great being might only be seen entering the world of Jin once in a blue moon. And these were mostly newly emerged universe masters from the primal universe who had come in search of adventure. This time around, other than Luo Feng, there was no one else. Star Tower flew over rapidly. Right away, it penetrated the membrane wall to enter the world of Jin. Surrounded by a vast blanket of clouds, Star Tower charged through the mist to make a hasty descent. Not far away, there was a ship parked amidst the clouds. Keep. The white-robed form of Luo Feng appeared. Star Tower fell into his palm, and then Luo Feng headed straight for the ship. The cabin doors automatically opened to welcome him in. This ship was maneuvered by the godly-powered avatar he had left behind in the world of Jin all this time. Naturally, it had brought along a great number of treasures with it. Inside the cabin room, the godly-powered avatar sat cross-legged in a corner. The supposedly empty floor next to it was occupied by a great number of treasures. Most of them were automaton-type treasures. There were also some other supplementary treasures. Hua. The moment Luo Feng arrived, with a wave, he stored all these treasures right away. With these treasures, in when my battle with the sector beasts, success is within my grasp. Luo Feng revealed a slight smile. At the same time, he was struck by a thought. Beside him, the ring of the military point on his godly-powered avatar's wrist was activated right away. Instantly, his surroundings transformed into the world of military arms. It was vital to note that so long as one was within the world of Jin and used the ring of the military point, entry into the world of military arms was immediate. This was the advantage of the ring of the military point. However, ordinary warriors did not qualify for the ownership of this ring of the military point. Hua. There was a change within the surrounding space. Then a golden figure descended from high up in the sky. Lord Milky Way, the golden figure greeted with deference. Luo Feng nodded. Please help me to evaluate what level this treasure belongs to. A ray of light was detached from Luo Feng's body where it was directly suspended afloat. It had 5 pairs of wings that were all widely spread, exuding a limitless, oppressive force. This was one of Luo Feng's important treasures, Shi-Wu wings. This was one of Luo Feng's first treasures. He had obtained it a long time ago. Combined with various other components, the strength of power it could demonstrate far surpassed all the treasures he had obtained in the world of Jin. However, in all this time, Star Tower and Shi-Wu wings had never been evaluated while in the world of Jin. This time around, since Luo Feng was here to take away such a large number of treasures, he decided he might as well have them evaluated. Of course, Luo Feng personally felt that Star Tower and Shi-Wu wings would absolutely surpass Wu Qi God. Understood, the golden figure replied respectfully. Buzz. Both eyes of the golden figure shot golden rays that shrouded Shi-Wu wings. Streams of rays brushed across every possible spot. Ang. The golden figure became a wondrous display with its entire body lit by rays. Countless light rays shot out of it and shrouded every inch around Shi-Wu wings as they probed and explored most thoroughly. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Within Godly King Valley, in the faraway world of Jin, at the top level of Wu Qi Tower. At that moment, the virtual consciousness of the Godly King of Jin suddenly turned its head, and, deep in thought, it looked far into the distant void space in a particular direction. That direction was where Luo Feng was evaluating his treasures. Milky Way. The Godly King of Jin was shocked. Other than the treasures from the Jin dynasty, I did not expect this Milky Way to also possess treasures from the Wu dynasty. It seems he must have experienced some extraordinary encounters. But, Godly King of Jin smiled. It is better if he is stronger and has a more complicated background. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation as he watched. Up until now, even he did not know where Shi-Wu wings had truly come from. As for browsing through the information vault of the world of Jin, the quantity of information in that vault was massive. Luo Feng did not have the stamina to go through everything. He had mainly accepted some of the important information about the inheritance, and that had been enough for him. Lord Milky Way. The golden figure retracted all the light rays. Then, with great respect, it said, "This wing is an automaton-type treasure. It seems to be a prized possession of the destroyed the Wu nation, and it was originally called Chaotic Golden Wings." Destroyed the Wu nation? Chaotic Golden Wings? Luo Feng was taken aback. His Shi-Wu wings had actually originated from the Wu nation. The previous Duandong River had been known as Duandong River Wu. Yet now, from the sound of it, the Wu nation had been destroyed long ago. Why would his teacher, Primal Chaos City Leader, come up a name like Shi-Wu wings when this was originally a wing from the Wu nation itself? It seemed his teacher had learned something that had benefited him back when he first discovered that first incomplete part of Shi-Wu wings. So, when his teacher had to think of a name for this wing, he had gone to the extent of including the character Wu within the name. Chaotic Golden Wings contains a total of 6 pairs of wings, the golden figure said most courteously. It currently consists of 5 pairs, so it is considered to be in an incomplete state. It is missing its 6th pair of wings. Before it was destroyed, the golden figure continued to elaborate in a respectful tone. The Wu nation, during its most prosperous time, was slightly stronger than my Jin nation. The Wu nation was most skilled in creating automaton-type treasures. In the battle of superpowers in that ancient civilization, The outcome mostly depended on the troops. An endless army, paired with a large number of automaton-type treasures, could execute attacks that were so powerful that even those who were regarded as holy existences preferred to steer clear to avoid these powerful attacks. Luo Feng nodded, deep in thought. He was already aware of this. The division of abilities consisted of the levels ranked accordingly: True God of Void Space, Eternal True God, the Holy, and the Godly King. The Godly King of Jin was at this level and had been powerful enough to create a nation of his own. The 3 generations of ancestors from the pulse of Duandong River had also been at that level, standing at the highest peak of the ancient civilization. The Rhinoceros Emperor of the Rhinoceros Emperor game, likewise, had been at that level. So long as one could reach this level, then single-handedly, one would be able to establish one's own sect to become an absolute leader and stand proud before any ancient civilization. Construction forces could give rise to an entire nation. Of all the battles of superpowers among the ancient civilization that Luo Feng knew of, the highest level of power among them all was the Godly King. Similarly, the Sha nation had been established by 3 founding monarchs. All of them had been godly kings, thus possessing an ability powerful enough to destroy the Jin nation. The warriors in the troops number in the billions, Luo Feng mumbled to himself. Relying on automaton-type treasures, even the beings on the level of the Holy Ones are most certainly going to be unstoppable unless the Godly King personally makes an appearance. However, the moment a Godly King goes to battle, it would almost be the same as a battle of nations, a battle of life and death. The golden figure continued. Within the troop, the main class of treasures is the group classification, like my race's Jin Luo universe. There are also more massive, single-body type treasures. Chaotic Golden Wings is considered to be one of the most outstanding treasures belonging to the ancient civilization. The most outstanding treasures belonging to the ancient civilization? Luo Feng was taken aback. Automaton-type treasures are not of much use to beings who are at the holy level, the golden figure said. For His Majesty the Godly King, they become all the more useless. As for the automaton-type treasures used by eternal true gods, these practically represented the pinnacle of all automaton-type treasures. Chaotic Golden Wings was an automaton-type treasure that the Wu nation had specially created for its eternal true gods. Luo Feng's eyes lit up the moment he heard this. Chaotic Golden Wings is composed of a total of 6 pairs of wings, and their effects are all different, continued the golden figure. With the first pair of wings, one can make use of time and space to accelerate one's speed of escape. This pair of wings can be used by a portion of geniuses from my ancient civilization. Even the undying fighters and knights are able to use it. With the second pair of wings, one can control time and space. This is a simplification of a situation whereby the orders of a true god, once given, have to be strictly enforced. This pair of wings can be used by ordinary lawmasters. With the third pair of wings, one can read a thought in void space. This is a simplification of the reading of thought in void space by a true god of void space. This pair of wings can be used by ordinary true gods. With the fourth pair of wings, one can establish a universe with a single thought. This is a simplification of an eternal true god's skill of establishing a miniature universe with a single thought. This pair of wings can be used by ordinary true gods of void space. The fifth pair of wings, to a certain extent, is used to control chaos. This is also how the name Chaotic Golden Wings came about. Normally, eternal true gods would be able to use this pair of wings. Then, relying on its power, they can have part of the might of a holy existence. The sixth pair of wings are the wings of attack. This pair is invincible. Its power is very strong, and it's biased towards the gold of chaos. This set of wings has the origin as its center and can unleash a super strong combat power. Out of all the single-body, automaton-type treasures of the Wu nation, this set of wings was regarded as the greatest accomplishment. Compared to all the other treasures in the ancient civilization, it was the most outstanding, too. With its help, eternal true gods can acquire part of the power of a holy existence. Of course, its secret engravings were sorted according to level from low to high, so for those with higher powers, after being activated by the secret engravings, the power stored in the origin will be a notch more superior. The energy stored within the origin is then equivalent to a spare supply of energy. This can also allow eternal true gods to last longer in battle. Luo Feng was astonished. Now, he understood. No wonder the blade power, when released from the origin even when due to overflowing and not erupting through the sixth pair of wings, could still be so powerful. It was all because the power was obtained after transformation carried out by an eternal true god. The third pair of wings allows one to read a thought in void space and can be used by ordinary true gods. But I am not ordinary at all. I could use it even when I was only a universe master. Luo Feng sighed. No wonder he had taken such a long time to comprehend the third stage of Shi Wu wings. The way the wings were designed was such that this third pair of wings was originally meant to be activated by those at the level of a true god, so for me, as a universe master, the requirements are certainly much higher. The fourth pair of wings is able to establish a universe with a single thought. Luo Feng said, filled with excitement. I may be extremely accomplished, but I still feel that there is a shred that cannot be successfully activated to completion. This shred was like a deep chasm. It was difficult to achieve the breakthrough. Going to the sector beast's nest for a life-and-death fight this time around might allow him to break through. Evaluate this treasure for me, too, said Luo Feng. A small tower appeared in Luo Feng's palm. Then, soon after, a 9-story tower flew out to hang suspended in midair. This was none other than Star Tower. Luo Feng looked at Star Tower, which was floating. To make Star Tower recognize him as his master, he almost died before, and the more powerful he became, the more mysterious he felt Star Tower was. Where does it come from? Luo Feng was more than confused. Yes, Mr. Milky Way, the golden light being answered. And then, 2 traces of light shot out of its eyes and began to inspect Star Tower. Light kept coming from its body, covering Star Tower. 1 second, 2 seconds. 1 minute, 2 minutes. Luo Feng waited as he watched. However, it would take days for the membrane of the miniature universe to be completely white, so he would be able to make it back. It had been more than 5 minutes, yet the being of golden light was still inspecting the tower. Still not done yet. Luo Feng couldn't help asking, as it had only taken it a short while to inspect Shi Wu Wing. The golden light being didn't react at all. It was still inspecting the tower. Asterisk 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 asterisk. At the top level of Wu Chi Tower in the world of Jin, the godly king of Jin country was looking in that direction. He appeared confused as he said, "This true treasure. I've never seen it before. It's so intricate and superlative that I can't discern anything from it. It's definitely a valuable that only godly kings would be able to forge, godly kings that are proficient in creating valuables. In the ancient civilization, godly kings were the pinnacle beings, akin to the emperors of some civilizations. Like the ancestral teachers of the 3 generations and the rhinoceros emperor, they were all at godly king level. However, they were proficient in different aspects. Some were great at close combat, some were skilled at distant attacks, some were proficient at valuable making, and some were skilled at machines. He's just as great as me, if not better. Who made this valuable? Why didn't I see this valuable before? The godly king of Jin country was confused. Although he was only a virtual consciousness, he had all the memories of the real godly king of Jin, so he knew every single supreme true treasure of the ancient civilization. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng was waiting. After a long while, the golden light being took back all the light. How was it? Asked Luo Feng. He looked a bit anxious. The golden light being said respectfully, I've inspected it carefully, but I couldn't find anything. It's out of the inspection of my range. Out of your range? Luo Feng was confused. Yes, said the golden light being. I can know everything about valuables within the range of eternal true gods. However, when it surpasses the eternal true god level, it'll be difficult for me. In my opinion, this is a valuable used by beings at the holy level, at least. Luo Feng raised his eyebrows, but he wasn't surprised. Although he wasn't powerful enough, he could tell that though Shi Wu Wing was incredible, yet it wasn't even half as mysterious or mystical as Star Tower. Shi Wu Wing was a top-tier machine-type valuable used by eternal true gods, so Star Tower was at least used by beings at the holy level. Mr. Milky Way, the golden light being said respectfully. I just received a message from His Majesty the Godly King. A message about this valuable. His Majesty the Godly King? Luo Feng was overjoyed. The Godly King knew a lot, so there was a chance he knew something about this valuable. It wasn't a surprise he knew about it. After all, the world of Jin was controlled by His Majesty the Godly King. What did His Majesty the Godly King say? Asked Luo Feng. He said that this tower-type valuable could only have been forged by a godly king, said the golden light being. Plus, it's definitely a top-tier valuable forged by a godly king who was an expert at making valuables, and it was forged after using lots of precious material and a great amount of energy. This tower-type valuable is enough for a godly king to use as a major weapon. Luo Feng was thrilled. A major weapon of a godly king? Luo Feng had several valuables personally, but ordinary valuables were only used for play. Only valuables like Shi Wu Wing and Star Tower were used as major weapons. However, the godly king of Jin country had said that Star Tower was powerful enough to be a major weapon for a godly king, and it was a top-tier valuable forged by a godly king excellent at making valuables. How did I get this? Luo Feng found it hard to believe. It definitely wasn't made by Sitting Mountain Guest. Luo Feng couldn't believe it any longer. Sitting Mountain Guest was only a true god. Perhaps he had met with endless great opportunities, but he was only a true god. No matter how fortunate he was, it was impossible for him to have made a perfect valuable that only a godly king great at making valuables could forge. Where does it come from? Asked Luo Feng. Such a supreme valuable must have been renowned even in the ancient civilization. The golden light being said respectfully, the masters of true gods at this level should all be prominent, and the true treasure should also be well known. However, His Majesty the Godly King said he has never seen a true treasure like this, and has never heard of a true god at this level in the ancient civilization. He hasn't even heard about it. Luo Feng was confused. There were several possibilities. 1. After Jin country was destroyed, a true treasure, Star Tower, was born in the ancient civilization, and Sitting Mountain Guest had obtained it somehow. Another was that long before Jin country was destroyed, a supreme being in the ancient civilization left Star Tower behind, but it had been a long time ago, so long that even the godly king of Jin didn't know about it. Another possibility was that the supreme being who had forged Star Tower had never publicized it. Teacher Sitting Mountain Guest did meet with great luck, Luo Feng thought. Besides, he must be up to something big. Otherwise, he wouldn't have just cultivated the earthlings to inherit this valuable, only to give up a valuable like Star Tower. I speculated that he was somehow related to Jin country, or at least related to Jin country after it was destroyed. However, even the godly king of Jin doesn't know where Star Tower come from. Luo Feng was even more confused. Regardless, he had confirmed with the godly king of Jin country that Star Tower was a major weapon used by godly kings, and even the godly king of Jin hadn't been aware of it. Can you check this one? Luo Feng waved his hands and took out Blood Shadow Blade to let the golden light being examine it. Asterisk 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 asterisk. In Godly King Valley, His Majesty the Godly King smiled. This Milky Way has a lot of valuables. Milky Way, this blade is an embryo at the Godly King level, said the Godly King of Jin. His voice echoed in Luo Feng's ears. It used a lot of precious materials. However, you need to imprint your own techniques into the blade so that the embryo can become a true weapon, which is something commonly used by supreme beings. After all, it's almost impossible to make a valuable at the level of your tower-type valuables. What's the name of that tower-type valuable? Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng smiled upon hearing the voice of His Majesty the Godly King. Your Majesty, the name of this tower is Star Tower. Luo Feng didn't fear the possibility that the Godly King of Jin craved the valuable. After all, His Majesty the Godly King had died a long time ago, and all that was left of him was a virtual consciousness. Valuables were useless to him. Plus, the Godly King of Jin had been expecting for him for a long time. Star Tower, said the Godly King of Jin, transmitting his voice. This is a seal-type valuable that can suppress lots of enemies, and it can even enslave the enemies. When you become stronger in the future, you will easily enslave enemies you trap in this star tower, and they'll never betray you. Of course, the weaker the great beings are, the easier it is to enslave them. It's mainly used for suppression, but it can also be used for fighting. It's also one of the most precious fighting-type valuables, and it's a major weapon used by godly kings. It's invaluable. Even when your embryo becomes a godly king's sword, 10 of them can rival one, not to mention an embryo. It's really lucky for you to have gotten that. I'm even more confident that you can achieve my goal. Luo Feng held his breath as he listened to the godly king's words. Even when Blood Shadow Blade became a godly king blade, 10 of them could rival one. Suppression. Enslavement. Star Tower can enslave my enemies. Luo Feng thought. It seems I'm too weak to fully exploit Star Tower. Luo Feng left the world of Jin with many valuables, but he left his godly power avatar in world of Jin. Star Tower. Shi Wu Wing. Luo Feng was smiling. These two valuables were indeed incredible, especially Star Tower. Even if he had already known how special Star Tower was, he was still amazed. What's your goal, teacher? Luo Feng thought. Sitting Mountain Guest had spent endless eras. For what? Luo Feng could tell that it was related to some of the deep secrets of Universe Ocean. Even Sitting Mountain Guest had said that he could only talk about it after the crisis of the Sector Beasts was over, which meant it would be pointless to talk about it while the Sector Beasts were still around. Haha. If I just stay in Star Tower, even if 10 million Sector Beasts attacked me at the same time, they couldn't hurt me. Luo Feng was thrilled. Star Tower was a major weapon used by godly kings, and every Sector Beast was only at the true god level, so even if they attacked at the same time, it was nothing to Star Tower. However, he still needed to be careful. Even though Star Tower was indestructible, Luo Feng would still be unable to resist the attacks from 10 million Sector Beasts. They could just push Star Tower into some out-of-the-way place. That's the core area of Tilted Peak Sector, after all, thought Luo Feng. Even if I can survive some terrifying places, I'll be trapped there forever, like 3 Extremes Abyss. If all the Sector Beasts push my Star Tower into 3 Extremes Abyss and I can come back with Undying River, my Star Tower will never make it way back. He was indeed confident, but he would still lose his life if he wasn't careful enough. Fortunately, I have Morosa. Luo Feng took a look at the Sector Beast at his side. In the chaos air in Universe Ocean, Star Tower was moving forward quickly, entering Luo Feng's miniature universe. My avatar will drive this spaceship, said Luo Feng. Morosa, stay in the ship and sense everything in the hive of the Sector Beasts. Yes, Master, answered Morosa. Luo Feng smiled. Just do what I said. I'll go to the hive now, and I'll capture many Sector Beasts and bring them back for you to swallow. Ah. Morosa was exhilarated. If a Sector Beast was suppressed by Star Tower, even level 3 Sector Beasts could do nothing but wait to be eaten by Morosa. Even level 4 Sector Beasts could still be eaten by Morosa with Luo Feng's help. Just help me, and I'll give you many perks, said Luo Feng. Then he left his miniature universe. As for Morosa, Luo Feng wished to cultivate him as the king of the Sector Beast. The hive of Sector Beast. Luo Feng looked at the endless space in the distance. Star Tower moved forward toward Tilted Peak Sector in Universe Ocean. Like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.